Welcome to sportsbookreview.com. I'm Flash, and it's UFC 249 to be held in Florida. We had the disappointment of the postponement of April 18, but now it's here. And I have two experts. I have Andreas Hale, who's senior editor and combat sports at DAZN and Sporting News. And also I have David Mannion, who's writer and UFC MMA expert. Gentlemen, how are we? Andreas, I'd like you to tell us a little bit more of why you love the UFC.
Well, listen, I grew up as a kid who liked to see people getting beat up. I went to pro wrestling, loved boxing, and then my world was rocked by this thing called the UFC. You know, I like the tough man competitions where guys were just in bars fighting, and I'm a sick guy who likes to see people get knocked out. So one day, my dad was stealing cable, and I came across this tournament where I saw a big fat guy against a little guy, and the little guy won. And then I saw a guy with one boxing glove fight another guy. I said, this is kind of ridiculous, but I like it. And I stuck with it, and I became obsessed with mixed martial arts. I loved kung fu flicks as a kid. I loved technique, styles, kickboxing, wrestling, jiu-jitsu, and I just become fascinated with it ever since. And now I've had the pleasure of covering it from ringside for the past decade. So my love of combat sports is obsessive because I'm a sick guy.
You are a sick man, and I've got a very sick man next to you in David Mannion. David, give us why you love UFC so much.
I can't match with Andreas's sickness speech, but I can say that it's pretty much the same. Look, I grew up watching WWE. There was a transition from little boy to little man, and the little man started following the Ultimate Fighting Championship. I wasn't lucky enough to have a father that was going to steal cable for me like he did for Andreas, but my father did buy a VHS tape. I did stumble across it, and I found heavyweights versus middleweights. I found a guy wearing one boxing glove fighting a guy in a karate outfit, also known as a gi. It was basically what the WWE was, but we take away the I don't want to say the dreaded word. The entertainment side of things is not. It's real fighting. Come on, let's be honest. It takes WWE and it makes it real. And then when you were having personalities brought along with that, your Royce Graces, your Ken Shamrocks, your Tito Ortizes, it made for the perfect martial arts. It made for the perfect combat sport to be televised. And I haven't been able to stop watching it ever since. And here I am as a fully grown old man with his beard and his pipe, still doing the same thing, sitting here each weekend watching these guys punch the hell out of each other.
Listen, whatever floats your boat, but you're both very sick men. But please remember to go over to sbrvideo.com/UFC 249 and subscribe and ring the bell so we can inform you of all of our content. You will not miss anything ever again. Now we're going to go and have a look at the main card and prelims. We're going to have 8 fights. Also, we've got a Twitter contest that Lee's going to let you know about. But let's start off with Francis Ngannou against Jairzinho Rozenstruik, and we're going to go with you, Andreas.
Look, send the judges home. They don't even need to be here for this fight because there's just no way in hell this thing is going the distance unless they just get bored and get scared of each other. But two heavy-handed guys who are dedicated to finishing the other, somebody's got to go. And I'm picking Ngannou here because I just think the guy's got cinder blocks for hands. When he hits people, they go to sleep. Rozenstruik is a decorated kickboxer who can control distance well and do a lot of things. But I think the margin for error is so small for Ngannou that if he connects, he's going night-night, and in an empty arena is going to be very loud. So tune in, don't blink, don't eat anything, watch this fight, Ngannou by knockout.
What sort of price do you think we're looking at, Andreas?
Well, Ngannou's a huge, huge favorite here. I think I've seen him somewhere around -280, which is a lot. So the value is really rough there, and it makes it a little scary to put so much money on some guy, you know, a guy like that, and especially in a heavyweight division where anybody can go to sleep at any time. However, Ngannou's primed for a heavyweight title run at some point in his career, and I think he's just going to catch him at any point. The funny thing is I think this fight might go a little over. I think the over-under was like a round and a half, and I think it might go over because you're looking at two guys who might be a little tedious early on and might not engage, but when it happens, it'll happen. It'll be explosive. It'll be quick, but you might have some value with the over. But, yeah, it's a tough bet to put that kind of money on Ngannou.
Yeah, I might put a little star against Ngannou and see if I can parlay them up. David, I'm going to come to you with Jeremy Stephens and Calvin Kattar.
Yeah, we have Jeremy Stephens and Calvin Kattar. They're pretty much identical. We have to look at these two fighters, and we have the younger, up-and-coming version of the older, past it, more primed guy, and it's going to be a fight all in favor of Calvin Kattar. His combos, his 1-2-3-2 combos are some of the crispest boxing in the UFC. If you watch much tape on Kattar, you'll see that his distance control and his ability to avoid the takedown and defend the takedown is something like no other. I seriously think that he is a future contender, or at least he will replace the Jeremy Stephens, and he will be in this top 10, and he will be the gatekeeper. The current gatekeeper is Jeremy Stephens. If we don't see Calvin Kattar reach that top 3 and go for the title, we will certainly see him stick around in this division, making it hard for up-and-coming fighters to make it through. So with that said, Jeremy Stephens has these leg kicks, right? And these leg kicks will have you walking around with one shin. So long as Kattar can keep that same distance, that defense that is so well known for, I feel like he's going to walk all over Jeremy Stephens. I do think he could finish him. And with the money line at quite a high number, it wouldn't be a bad idea to prop yourself up on Kattar and take him inside the distance.
And maybe put Kattar with Ngannou. Andreas, we're going to go with Greg Hardy and Yorgan de Castro. The big boys are in town.
Yeah, this is the Greg Hardy highlight show here. The UFC is just putting a ton behind Greg Hardy. They want to make this guy a superstar. Yorgan de Castro, we don't know a whole lot about him, but we know he's kind of being put in here as a crash test dummy for Greg Hardy to obliterate. Look, the biggest challenge that Greg Hardy faces is his cardio. He gets tired because he puts everything behind these punches. Don't know how his training camp is going to be. He's not fighting an elite heavyweight. This is Greg Hardy by knockout. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it.
Cool, no messing about there. Greg Hardy by knockout. Yorgan de Castro, thanks for coming. Move on, close the door on your way out. Dave, here's 2 favourites that we like at SBR. We've covered them over the years. And it's Uriah Hall and Ronaldo Souza.
Yeah, I really enjoyed the price on this fight when it was first released for that April card. We had Uriah Hall at a price of, it was plus 160 or plus 150, I can't remember exactly, but I was straight into my Word document. I was typing up for SBR dogs and their odds. Let's get Uriah Hall in there quick before that price goes. I was sending it over. Event cancelled. Okay, so now we've got the event back on. We're heading to May 9th. I'm going to go jump for that underdog price again. What does the bookmaker meet me with? It meets me with plus 120 on Uriah Hall. I'd lost a 40-point drop on that. And since them odds have been released, you'll see the odds chart. It's just declining. It's just declining. People are putting more faith in Uriah Hall since I wrote about him and let everyone know. Let's just put it that way. Your boy Dave has been moving lines since February 2019 for SBR, and I'll continue to move lines because that's just what I do. So yeah, it's a hard fight to bet on. If anything, now I'm looking more towards Souza. Jacare he's an old man now, right? Some fighters, they can roll into their 40s like they're still 29. Not mentioning no names, Yoel Romero. But then the majority, like most of us, we get older, we slow down, and we're just not what we used to be. And that's exactly what's happening with Jacare right now. It is sad to see a guy lose that ability to just beat the majority of the roster on any given day. Now he's fighting a Uriah Hall who has the ability to throw a head kick, leg kick, front kick, spin kick from anywhere, and he knocks people out with it as well. I just don't see this being a easy ground game opportunity for Souza, leading him to use his fists, which he is very good with, but he's not on Uriah Hall's level. Uriah Hall's going to be able to control that distance, and it's sad to say I think we might see another knockout here from Uriah Hall on Jacare.
Yeah, absolutely cracking fight that we're looking forward to, because we do sort of hone in on them certain fighters that we follow from like event to event, and that some they stick with you. And Uriah Hall's one of those that have stuck with me. Now, here's an opportunity for you all to get involved. We're going to run a Twitter contest, so go over to SBR Sport Picks and have a good look. Take it away, Lee.
Hello everyone, Lee Martin here to present you SBR's UFC 249 Beat the Expert contest. On May 9th, Justin Gaethje and Tony Ferguson are finally going head to head. So you know what that means? Yes, betting on the UFC. How the contest works. UFC expert Andreas Hale is going to give his entire card picks for the event by video via our Twitter page. And you, the bettor, have to beat him with your own picks by commenting on the video post and retweeting. In order to have a valid spot in the contest with your picks, you must be following our Twitter page at SBR Sports Picks. So that's one event, one winner, and an easy $100. If you head on over to sbrvideo.com/UFC 249, you can find all the information for the contest plus T's and C's. Also, there you can check out our top betting picks, the entire card breakdown from our UFC betting experts, promotions, bonuses, and so much more. Also, don't forget to subscribe to SBR's YouTube channel at SBR Sports to receive all updates regarding upcoming content and sporting events, and also give us a like. Again, this is a chance to win $100 and also a chance to go up against UFC experts with your picks and to test your UFC knowledge. Let's get ready to rumble and have some fun. Hope to see you guys then.
Make sure you all get involved in that at SBR Sports Picks Twitter contest for UFC 249. Moving on, Andreas, we got Cowboy Cerrone and Anthony Pettis, two very well-known names.
This is a tough one because they're both a little long in the tooth. Anthony Pettis isn't the Showtime that we saw in the WEC jumping off of fences. Cowboy, we saw him get steamrolled by Conor McGregor, and he's lost several fights in a row. But these two have met before, and Anthony Pettis met Donald Cerrone with a body kick and ended the fight very early. I don't think it's going to be exactly the same way, but I think Pettis is just sharp enough with his striking, and I think we finally figured out that Donald Cerrone's been in one too many wars. I like Pettis here. He's a minus 145 favorite, and I'm going to go with the favorite here because I just think Pettis is a little bit too dynamic, and I think Cerrone's seen one too many wars.
David, when we have a favorite and he's like minus 145, is that telling us that the fight is a little bit closer than the odds suggest?
Yep, sure is. It means the bookmaker likes that fighter, but they don't have the cojones to really go in on that fighter. That's what it means. It means that, yeah, okay, on paper it looks like this guy's going to win, but we don't want to give the public too much value on that because there's a great chance that it could go against us. So, yeah, this fight it's incredible. It's going to be an incredible fight. We've already saw it happen. We saw the first fight happen, and now we're going to see it again whilst they're a bit older. I don't think much is going to change. In the first fight, Anthony Pettis ate Cowboy's liver for dinner. That was it. There's no coming back from them type of liver shots. You ever took a shot to the liver, you know exactly what Cowboy was going through in that first fight. So now here we are, years down the line. They've both been through wars. They both accept fights regularly. And there's not really much on the line. There's not, other than, you know, reputation, there's not really much on the line. These two guys are past their prime. They've had their time. Everybody's watching The Last Dance right now. It's a bit like the Bulls and the Pistons. Like Anthony Pettis and Donald Cerrone, they've had their time. It's done. It's over. But they are still entertaining fighters who are going to put on a show. I just think Pettis is going to have, even though we're in a weight class above from last time, I just think Pettis is going to have a slight speed advantage, which he did in the first fight, and I think that's going to work to his advantage. This is going to be a striking battle, and whoever can hit the trigger first. I don't think it's going to go the distance because neither of these guys can manage to survive a couple of rounds, let alone 15 minutes.
Andreas, we've got Vicente Luque and Nico Price.
Yeah, we've seen this one before, and then Luque stopped Price. So why would I think anything's going to change? I think it's going to be a fun fight because Nico Price is a fun fighter to watch. He just goes hard every time and tries to finish his opponent. But same result, Luque by stoppage.
Wow, look. So I thought the value, David, might have been that this time there's a little bit more caution from Price, and we might get it going the distance and not care who wins.
Yeah, like Andreas said, we've saw this fight happen, and it's not like other fights where there's been a huge amount of years in between the first fight. To be honest, both fighters are pretty much on the same level as they were in the first encounter. So second time round, I wouldn't expect to see much more. Nico Price is going to enter this fight with the exact same threat that he had first time round, and that was his explosive ability to just rain on the punches and finish a fight. I mean, he's finished a fight off his back with a hammer fist. So he's not a guy that you want to take lightly, but at the same time, Vicente Luque it's just his fight IQ is going to be better for me. Flash, he's more intelligent. He's gonna understand this fight probably better than he did the first one, and probably come out better than he did first time round. And we'll see Vicente Luque win again. Obviously, the price is a bit ugly. In terms of whether this fight finishes or not, I've been picking so many finishes. I may as well just continue and say, yeah, one of these guys is probably going to get finished. And yeah, I have to side with Vicente Luque winning on strictly on just being the more technical fighter and having the higher fight IQ for me.
Well, I tell you what, you two are telling me that the judges are not even going to be needed for any of the fights. I mean, it's like they're getting paid money for old rope. Let's go with Aleksei, Oleinik and Fabricio Werdum. We're going to go with you, Dave.
Do you know what, with this fight is a bit confusing. I mean, maybe it's for the Brazilian fans that support Fabricio Werdum, or I really don't know, but Aleksei and Fabricio there's not really much that I want to say about this fight, because we've got two 42-year-olds that are going to scrap it out in the heavyweight division, and it's most likely you're going to have to side with Werdum, because the striking difference between these two is light years apart, and it doesn't matter how beat up Werdum is or how old he is. A guy like Aleksei is never ever going to beat Werdum in a striking battle. So Aleksei's he's got dangerous arms. He squeeze you, choke you, pull you. I just don't see that happening with Werdum, who has plenty of jiu-jitsu experience to keep him out of that realm. It's Werdum or pass, but at the same time, you're going to have to lay money on a juiced price for some old man. So it's not one of the most favourable bets on the card, should we say that?
Andreas, we look at the two old men, as David said. Now, do we go with this goes a distance because they're going to be a bit sloppy, a bit slow, they don't want to get hurt? Or are we going to see one of them run out of gas?
One of them's going to run out of gas. I mean, they're long in the tooth, they're old, and Oleinik's best opportunity is an Ezekiel choke against a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu dynamo in Fabricio Werdum. That's not happening. So they're going to stand in front of each other for a long periods of time, and Fabricio has showed improved striking, even though he's old as hell. He's still going to catch him, and I think there's no way this fight goes the distance unless these two guys just get bored and go to sleep. So one way or another, I think we're going to get a finish, and I think it's absolutely going to be in Verdum's advantage if this fight's standing up.
And the final one we're going to go with is Carla Esparza and MichelleWaterson. Andreas?
Look, if any fight is going to go to the distance, it's going to be this one. Because Cookie Monster, Carla Esparza, is a woman who loves to wrestle, put her opponents on their back, and grind them out. And I love MichelleWaterson, but she's a very small strawweight. She always has been. She has trouble with wrestlers. She dealt with Tisha Torres and put her on her back. You know, Carla Esparza is a little underrated. You know, when she fights people, they look at her and say she's not a great striker, but she doesn't have to be. She just kind of runs into your face, grabs you, throws you on the back, and dares you to get up. Waterson's not probably going to get up here. So I'm picking Esparza by decision. This thing is going the distance. So if you're looking for a fight to go over, it's obviously this one.
David, the judges are going to be needed on this one.
More than likely, Flash. We've got the first ever strawweight champ here in Carla Esparza. She's not the most prettiest of girls in terms of the skills that she puts on display. She's a grinder. Her base is wrestling. You should expect her to come out and do what she does in the majority of her wins, and that is to come out and wrestle her way to victory. It's how she won the title. It's how she's kept herself relevant, to be quite honest with you. And she's facing a girl in the karate hottie who I do like. I think she's got some decent, she's got some decent stand-up skills. She's locked in a few rear naked chokes, but I'm not sure she's going anywhere, Michelle. I don't see her being a threat to this division. These two girls I think they're just one space away from each other in the rankings. I think they're 9th and 8th or something like that. Neither of these girls will get into the top 3. Neither of these girls are going to get a title shot. So it's just going to be another, for me, this will be another Carla Esparza lay and pray sort of thing. She's going to be waiting for that takedown. She's going to take it. She's going to get it. She's going to hold top position for much as long as she can. We might see Michelle throw up some subs off her back or something. I don't see much scrambling coming from Michelle with Carla and her heavy top game. She's got a good top game. And let's not forget, she beat Rose Namajunas, and that's how she won the title. So with MichelleWaterson, I mean, MMA math is a real funny thing. We have Carla who beat Rose, but then we have Rose who beat Joanna, who was undefeated, and then we have Carla who beat Rose, and then we have Karate Hottie who lost to Rose by submission. So MMA math's a funny thing. It's not a good way to work things out, but when you can separate the skills and define these skills and see that Carla has clearly got the advantage in this one, there's only one side to pick. Sorry, guys. Unfortunately, we're siding with another favourite, but yeah, it has to be Carla Esparza. I think you can get a price 140, which isn't too bad, to be fair.
No, listen, I would like any price for any winner. I don't mind that. I mean, I don't think there's much value if you've bet the loser. If you like this video, then please visit us on sbrvideo.com/UFC249. Subscribe, ring the bell so we can notify you, and you will never miss any content again. And what content we've had today. Andreas Hale, thank you very much, sir. David Mannion, keep up your great work. Enjoy Saturday UFC 249. Until next time, you take care and stay safe.